AITA for telling my husband that he is in fact just like his father. My 31F, husband 31M, and I have 4 children. A son 9M, a daughter 8F, and twins 5M. My husband and I were over the moon when we had our first 2 kids and were just very excited. The twins were a huge surprise considering twins aren't common in either of our families, but we decided to keep them. However, my husband's attitude towards the twins has completely changed. I know it's tiring. We have other little children running around too, but it's not like we're overwhelmed. My mother, who is still very young and fit, lives with us, and she usually takes care of the kids when she can. We aren't short on money either, as both of us come from pretty wealthy families. However, I know that sometimes that isn't even enough when it comes to parenting, so I decided to leave it. However, instead of moping around or just being distant, he's become pretty mean with the twins. He's always finding something to shout at them for. He shouts at them for being identical as if they purposely planned it. Plus, he's the perfect dad with my older children, he only acts weird with the twins. I had enough yesterday when my youngest asked me why dad hates him and whether I want him to disappear too. There is absolutely no way a little kid would lie about something like this. I don't think he has the mental ability to make up things like that either. I was furious and confronted my husband, who was sound asleep in the bedroom. I asked him what his problem was and why he was being in. He was confused, so I explained. He then accused my son of lying and saying nonsense. Obviously, I didn't believe him and told him that he was exactly like his father. He got and left the house. I don't know where he went, and honestly I don't give a side note. Husband's father was, in short, very absent and cheated on his wife a lot. My husband vowed to never be like him and gets very heated at the mention of his dad. Anyways, my mother, who heard the whole thing go down, told me that I did the right thing by shouting at him, but I should not have mentioned his father. My sister, who I called later, said the same and told me to make a post on here just to see. So I'm telling my husband that he is exactly like his dick of a father. Update. So I'm posting on here because some of the things I'm going to talk about may not be allowed on AITA. Also, it's probably too early to update on there. So first things first, I would like to thank all of you for your input. I read every single reply and have taken all your words into consideration. Secondly, I would like to clarify a few things. When I said that my husband and I decided to keep the twins, I meant that we had to think long and hard about me giving birth to them. My first 2 pregnancies had a lot of complications, and according to the doctor, twins would be worse. Ultimately, we both decided that we would keep the kids and pray to God that I would be fine. It was tough. I almost passed, but I survived. I had mentioned my husband's behavior before, and he always told me that I was overanalyzing him or overreacting. According to him, I was doing too much. I actually thought I was going crazy and felt like for thinking my husband was mistreating the twins. However, my son's face showed me that I was right the whole time and I should not have let it to go on as much as I did. And I blew up on him. Yes, I said it to hurt him, but I also said it because I hoped that he would realize that he is turning into a dick of a man just like his father. Now onto the update. So a few hours after I made the post, my husband messaged me saying that he was sorry for leaving the house abruptly and shouting, etc. I first asked him where he was and he said that he was at his brother's house. I told him to get comfortable because there was no way he was coming back home. I then asked him if we could meet later and he said sure. So, the next morning, I went over to his brother's house and we talked, and honestly, I'm numb. I'm going to keep this as short as possible, so I'll skip over the irrelevant stuff. So first, I apologized for comparing him to his father, not for shouting at him, but for the comparison, and he said it was fine. He apologized as well. Then I asked him why he was so mean to the twins. It took some time for him to tell me the truth, but he spilled. Like many of you suggested, he said that he felt like they weren't his children. Apparently the kids don't look or act like him, and he got bad vibes from them. I rolled my eyes at the bad vibes part, but I assured him that I did not cheat on him, and that just because they don't look like him, they look a lot like me, doesn't mean they aren't his children. He said that he did trust me, but something about the twins was off. I told him that he wasn't making any sense and that he needed to see a therapist. ASAP. He kind of looked defeated before saying that he would. I forced him to make an appointment then, and they're in front of me. I then told him that he wasn't coming near any of the kids until he sorted out his issues, because the children are going to be heavily affected by him. I mentioned some of the things you guys said about how much words hurt and how kids remember. At this point, I had some hope that he would get better, that there was a slight chance of us becoming a family again. But then I asked him one more question. Did he ever physically hurt our twins? Somebody mentioned this in the replies of my odd post, and it had been killing me. I needed to know. He said yes, but only a few times when they were being difficult. I was shocked. He hit our children, and I was clueless. He said that it wasn't hard and that the twins were throwing things and wouldn't calm down, so he hit them. He didn't mean to and lost control. I didn't want to hear any more and immediately left before I did something. I went home, and when my mom asked me how it went, I cried. I sobbed in her arms. I don't know where I went wrong and why everything was going to. You hear these things happen in the news or in movies, but you never realize that it could be happening to you or your babies. I then made sure my kids were okay. I asked my twins first if Dad ever hurt them. They said yes, and one of them even said that he was scary. I asked my eldest two if Dad ever hurt them, and they said no. I asked the two if they ever saw Dad hit the twins, and my son didn't know, but my daughter did. She even said that they deserved it. That ruined me even more. I mentioned that my daughter had been starting to treat the twins like her father, but I managed to stop it. Obviously, she isn't mean to their face anymore, but it's obvious she thinks low of them. So, taking advantage of the money I am privileged enough to have, I have decided to put all of them in therapy with the best people I could find. When they asked where their dad was, I told them that he was busy with work and wouldn't be home for a bit. I honestly don't know if that was the right call, but I don't want a man who hits kids in my house or near my children. I'm just numb. I've cried so much that I cannot cry anymore. I can't be angry because I let this happen for so long. I can't be guilty because I need to stay strong for my children. I still don't know what to do. Like I've said a billion times, I'm so numb. It's like all the joy has been sucked out at me. Thankfully, my sister moved in and both her and my mother have been supporting me a lot. I felt like letting it all out and talking about it on this post would help me feel better, but I still keep getting flashes of anger, sadness, guilt, etc., and I don't know. I know I'm making this about me, but I don't know how to handle all this information that's been dumped on me in one day. But I'm going to be strong for my children. I'm going to get the best lawyer I can find, and I'm going to do my very best to protect my kids. Whether I let my husband into my life or the lives of my kids is still a huge. For me, as my eldest two have mentioned that they miss him. I will see how things go, but I don't know if I can ever trust him again. He has messaged me a few times since our conversation saying sorry and that he really didn't hate our twins. But I don't know. And yeah, once again, thank you random strangers on the internet for the replies and private messages. I don't know if this update was satisfying, and I highly doubt that I'll update again, as I'm going to put all my time into helping my kids, but I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you guys.